What's good, everybody? Hopefully you guys are doing good. So we are back today for another video, and today is August 19th. I'm going to go over a few updates with the stimulus package, where we're at, a couple updates with the United States Postal Service, and a few stock updates. Now before I begin, this is my Twitter page in case you guys aren't already following. We're at 311 followers. The fun never ends here. If you guys have a message, a comment, or an email, send it here. This is the best way to do it. As you can see, notifications and messages, I see them pretty quick. I respond quickly as well. And over here, as you can see, I post if I get my dividends, some stock news, and other fun stuff that's going on. So follow me. Link will be in the description below in case you're not already following. Okay, let's go. So we are straight off of CNN Business, and in case you guys are not aware, today the stock market hit another record. Every day it's been a new record lately, so it's been pretty crazy. Apple is now worth more than $2 trillion. The first company ever to be worth $2 trillion. And disclaimer, I do own some Apple stock. I bought it a couple years ago. I haven't really funded it too much since. And obviously right now with it being at highs, I'm not really going to be touching it right now. I'm going to keep my distance. Jobless claims are expected to stay below $1 million. Thursday jobless claims report is expected to continue. What economists hope is a new trend, fewer than 1 million Americans claiming unemployment benefit for the first time. Tomorrow we'll be getting that report, and that report's probably going to sway where the markets are going to go in part. And lately, as they've been saying, it's been less than 1 million. So if you can have less than 1 million, I mean, we'll take it, right? That's not a bad number. Continued claims filed for the last 2 weeks in a row are expected at 15 million, roughly 500,000 fewer than in the previous week. In other news, the world's largest offshoring rig owner goes bankrupt. Valaris. Now this is a good example of just because a company is big, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily safe. Anything can happen. There's always risk with any company. Valaris, the world's largest offshore rig owner, filed for bankruptcy Wednesday, the latest evidence of the deep slump in oil and gas industry. Yeah, oil and gas has been hit really hard. Some of them have been cutting dividends, and overall value has dropped. I'm not really going to be touching it too much in this video. Even in the future, it's a lot of risk. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, so I'm keeping my distance. But this is a good example of just because you're a big company, you're not necessarily safe. So it was formerly known as Ensco Rowan. Valaris sported a market value north of $4 billion in late 2018, but the crash in oil prices during the bug caused drilling activity to dry up around the world. Well, yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, if everyone is locked in, people aren't traveling as much, there's not really much demand, and also airfare is also pretty low at this point. The bankruptcy follows filings in recent months by fracking pioneer Chesapeake Energy, former Shell star Whiting Petroleum, and offshore rig contractor Diamond Offshore. Yeah, these three got hit pretty hard. I do not own any of them, and Valaris, I do not own them as well. The stock is down 95% this year alone, so it got hit pretty hard. 95% down, that's pretty steep. Valaris reached a deal with creditors to slash its debt by more than $6.5 billion and receive $500 million in financing to keep the company in operation. If you have your calendars, take them out now. This is a good time to write these dates on your calendar. Mark it, put a note. September 8th and the 14th. Key dates for the second round of payments. It could be another month at least until Americans receive a second $1,200 stimulus payment. Is Congress adjourned for recess without striking a deal? And once we get closer to the election, guys, there's going to be more and more pressure for Trump to do something unilaterally or with the help of Congress, because he wants to get reelected. And this check was something that he said was going to happen, and it was going to be more than what was expected. But right now, it's not looking too good. Now, these guys went on recess on August the 10th, which is about a week ago, and they're not going to be back till Labor Day on the 7th. So almost 1 month during this critical time, these people are gone to relax. The House of Representatives is not due to reconvene for votes until 14th of September. Busy months ahead for Congress. All right, let's see what Trump has said here. This was a few days ago. I have directed Steve Mnuchin to get ready to send direct payments, $3,000 for family of 4 to all Americans. Democrats are holding this up. like we had expected, guys. They're going to be pointing fingers. It's going to be going back and forth until election time is here. We're going to have to see what's going to happen, but it's going to be a bumpy ride. That also means the stock market is going to be fluctuating. That's my prediction. So be ready. There will be a lot of uncertainty, as if we don't already have it, but it's just going to be added with everything going on. So as we know, the Democrats, they wanted that $3.4 trillion HEROES Act stimulus package, but the Democrats and Republicans have not reached any middle ground on other issues contained within the proposal, such as unemployment and school funding. All right, let's continue on here. All right, so if we are to have another bill, the payments would start the week of September 21st. For that to happen, a chain of events would need to occur. The Senate would need to pass the final bill on the 8th of September, the House passing it the following day, and it being signed off by Trump on the 10th. All of that happening smoothly without any setbacks. However, it looks a little unrealistic at this point in time. Like I said, a lot of uncertainty. It's not looking good, but hopefully if something is to pass, it passes. And this is something that's kind of cool. This is from CNN Business. If you go on the website, it tells you day by day some of the major sectors: stay-at-home stocks, work-from-home stocks, stocking up stocks, airlines, hotels. It kind of gives you an idea for where they're at. Good thing to look at if you're just learning, or if you want to kind of see which stocks to keep an eye on. This is something that I didn't know this existed, but this could be helpful. I could see the benefit of using something like this just to help you to get more familiar with different sectors. Now today, the markets are just about to close in about 10 minutes or so. They're slightly down. Minus 4.3, 0.13%, so not a whole lot. And that was for, that's the S&P. The S&P is barely down at this point. Like I said, it's not moving a whole lot. With everything going on with the bug, it seems like the overall consensus is that things are getting better, even though the numbers, depending on which numbers you look at, say otherwise. This is from CNBC. This is also pretty fresh off the press. This was coming out yesterday. With negotiations on next stimulus package at an impasse, here's what you can actually count on. Here's some key points. So as we know, Trump took executive action earlier this month to pass a patchwork of federal aid. He said those relief measures would protect Americans from eviction and get them $400 a week in unemployment benefits. Unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated, and you may not be able to count on much until Congress reaches a deal. Many retailers across the U.S. are shutting stores. This is one in Manhattan, New York. Yeah, New York is crazy. I've read articles about their housing crisis. They have a very, very high vacancy rate right now because it's expensive. So people are going elsewhere, staying home with family, whatever they gotta do to avoid paying those apartment fees and costs that people are paying. All right, let's continue on here. Let's see what else we have here. So if you guys remember, in a recent video I said that Trump would give about $300 a week and ask the states to pay up to $100 for it. Some states have been doing it and some states have not. States are pretty unlikely to fill in the $100. What's more, states are only guaranteed to receive this funding for 3 weeks, which puts all the more pressure on the states to kind of figure out what they're going to do, unless Trump tries to extend another executive order, which he could do given everything that's going on. The executive order on eviction does not in any way create a moratorium on eviction, nor does it direct federal agencies to issue a moratorium. One silver lining: if and when Congress decides on another round of federal unemployment benefits, those benefits will likely be retroactive to when the $600 lapsed, experts say. Facing eviction, renters, households unable to pay rent and at risk of eviction. As you can see, the numbers are pretty high across the boards. LA, Texas, New York, those are probably the highest ones. Payroll tax credit improvement to be a success. I've been seeing some articles saying that it's not that great. Again, this is early stages for this stuff. We're gonna have to wait and see what goes down. Nancy Pelosi calls the House back into session to vote on the United States Postal Office bill. So Speaker Pelosi said Sunday she's calling back the House into session over the crisis at the Postal Office, setting up a political showdown among concerned that Trump is trying to undermine the agency ahead of the election. Yeah, the postal office situation has become a big political issue. Trump's new Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, has sparked nationwide outcry over delays, new prices, and cutbacks, just as millions of Americans will be trying to vote by mail to avoid polling places during the bug. All right, let's continue on here, see what else we have. Here we go. Okay, let's see what Speaker Pelosi has, everyone's favorite speaker. The assault by President Trump and his mega donor, Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, on the postal office service threatens lives, livelihood, and life of our American democracy. I'm calling on the House to return to vote on Chairwoman Maloney's Delivering for America Act. Hashtag don't mess with the USPS. As I had mentioned to you guys, I've had a pretty bad experience when I went to the USPS. It was just not a good experience. They're trying to charge me for tape. Customer service isn't really the top priority. That's my experience. You guys let me know how your experience has been. But there's so many more companies that can do it more efficiently. FedEx, just to name one, much better, no issues, very easy, and UPS as well. All right, let's continue on. All right, so one thing we've been hearing as well is that the USPS, the main issue is the people who are getting Social Security because they get sent out by the USPS. However, 98.8% of Social Security beneficiaries receive electronic payments. Makes it a lot easier. Just get it via electronic payment. USPS talking points include cutting transportation, eliminating overtime pay, and leaving mail behind. More than 71 million Social Security and Supplemental Security income beneficiaries, or 98.8% of total Social Security and SSI beneficiaries, receive their payments electronically per month. The administration mails nearly 850,000 paper checks, 1.2% per month. The electronic payment consists of direct deposit and direct express debit card, the spokesperson said. All right, let's continue on here. Oh, here we go. So this was something that was key. In case you guys don't know, the U.S. Treasury required all new Social Security recipients to sign up for electronic payments in March 2013 in an effort to move away from paper checks. So there you go. They made it mandatory in 2013 that you have to receive electronic payments. They're not going to mail it anymore. So there you go. This is a good transition to rely more on UPS, FedEx, and companies that actually have an incentive to give customer service and provide a good product. There's an incentive. Works a lot better. All right, let's see what else we got here. Obama gave us his input. Everyone depends on the USPS seniors for their Social Security, which is not true. Veterans for their prescriptions, small businesses trying to keep their doors open. They can't be collateral damage for an administration more concerned with suppressing the vote than suppressing the bug. So there you have it. He added that Americans with the option to vote early by mail should do so. All right, let's continue on here. We're almost done. Senate GOP drafts new scaled back bug relief measure with USPS funding as talks remain stalled. This was a new update that I saw today. The Republicans drafted a new relief package to try to get the Democrats on the same page so they can come to some type of resolution. The draft measure also includes $10 billion in funding for the U.S. Postal Service, which has become a political flashpoint over the past few weeks. I mean, that's a pretty good strategy if you're trying to negotiate. If you include the USPS in your funding, it gives you more leverage. So then that way, the Democrats may have to take the concession on some things that they may not have wanted to in the past, because at least Republicans are saying, hey, we're going to fund the USPS. You guys have to come to the table. Election season's right around the table, and this could be a good strategy going forward. Now, let's see what else we got here. Okay, here we go. This is from Pelosi. I don't want to have to wait until the continuing resolution at the end of September. More people will be deceased. More jobs will be lost. We have to try to come to an agreement now. All they have to do is recognize the need. We're willing to cut our bill in half to meet the needs right now. The $10 billion funding level for the Postal Office is a nod to the tentative agreement reached between Democrats and White House negotiators. Will allow Republicans to point to the measure as a way to address calls for congressional action as the election approaches. like I said, they're trying to build some leverage. Who knows if there's anything else? Maybe one side wanted to put in the bill, but they took it out. This is some good leverage. It's going to be, like I said, get your popcorn, guys. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Second stimulus check may be excluded from the new smaller GOP stimulus package proposal. Again, these checks, they're not guaranteed, which is why you must plan accordingly, diversify, invest in assets that are going to pay you something. You got to do what you got to do at this point in time. There's no guarantee. If you're relying on these checks, they might be cut or they won't come at all. Are Republicans abandoning a second stimulus check? So this is from New York Magazine, which is more left-leaning. But I gave you guys a good variety. I'm not, like I said, I don't have a side that I agree with. I'm independent. I'm just going to give you guys both sides so we can come to a better understanding. Okay, until now, the one item that seemed to appear in any ultimate stimulus deal was the second check. Indeed, the check is what both sides agreed on, but it's the little other details that at this point in time they can't agree on. So as far as the stimulus package, those are the main updates. The USPS has been given funding from the Republicans. Now it's up to Democrats to see if they agree to that, if they want more funding, what else they want included in the package. And Nancy Pelosi, like I had mentioned before, she wants everybody to come back just to vote on the bill. But I'm thinking, what's going to happen with the stimulus check? Is that going to be negotiated as well, or are they going to wait on that? We'll have to wait and see. Now, the last thing I have for you guys in this video is Apple. Apple hit $2 trillion market cap, which is pretty insane. This is their chart. Look at this. If you guys had invested back here in the 80s, even the 90s, if you invested like $1,000 or $10,000, you'd be doing very, very well. Now, the dividend yield is pretty low, 0.70, but Apple has a lot of money, and over time they're probably going to increase the dividend. That's just my prediction. The PE ratio is kind of high, 36. Like I said, it's a tech company. It's growing, $2 trillion market cap. This price is where it's at right now, and it's close to its 52-week highs. And here we go. Apple becomes the first U.S. company to reach a $2 trillion market cap. It's the first publicly traded U.S. company to reach a $2 trillion market cap. Apple was also the first publicly traded U.S. company to reach $1 trillion market cap. And it hit it on Wednesday. Apple surges in market value. This is a good chart here. So in the yellow is Apple, in the blue is S&P 500, and Apple has just been skyrocketing, guys. It's pretty insane, their growth, but it just goes to show you, people like Apple products. They're spending more time at home. It makes sense. People are going to probably spend their money on these products while they're home with their headphones, computers, Apple TV, all that good stuff. The company posted a historically strong third quarter in late July, including almost $60 billion in revenue and double-digit growth in its products and services. Apple saw widespread retail closures during the quarter. So that's a good point. That's very interesting. They closed some of their retail stores and their numbers are still out of control. It's pretty insane. But said here we go. So that's what happened. So those people who were working at stores, they probably shifted to have them work from home, and online sales boosted overall operations. So whatever CEO Tim Cook is doing, it's working. And let's see what else we got. The last part of here, Apple's quickly rising prices earnings ratio, which is now over 33 at the moment. So let me know in the comments below. Do you guys own Apple? Are you thinking about buying more Apple? Do you think that it is overly valued? What's your strategy with Apple? Because like I said, I bought a little bit a while back, but I haven't really touched it, and I was kind of keeping an eye on it, and right now it's just skyrocketing. I'm not going to really touch it at this point in time. I'm just going to kind of leave it for now and just reinvest dividends once they come in. It didn't take long for other tech giants, Amazon, Microsoft, and Alphabet to match Apple's $1 trillion market cap. So there you go. Apple shares are up about 60% to date, pushing through the bug that has affected many companies in the past year. Shares have risen more than 120%. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's going to be tonight's video. As always, if you're not subscribed, don't subscribe. And if you like the video, don't forget to give it a like. Until next time, peace.